Many of you have probably seen our Saints 4 video that we put up yesterday, which has like 6 minutes of gameplay, and even if you haven't watched it on this channel and you've watched it somewhere else, cool, fine, whatever. I just want to talk about a lot of the different opinions on Saints Row 4 and give my opinion as well. Now, most of you know me well enough to know that I can be a hater at times. Go watch any video of me playing Assassin's Creed 3 and you'll know how much I can be a hater. Or Revelations for that matter, because I hate both of those games with a passion because they're awful and they have destroyed the Assassin's Creed franchise. Now, Saints Row 4, I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I never played Saints Row, the original Saints Row. To me, I saw it, and a friend of mine owned it on the Xbox 360 when it first came out, and the game, not the 360. And I was like, well, fuck this game. This is just a Grand Theft Auto ripoff. I mean, it's me we're talking about here. I love Grand Theft Auto. San Andreas is my favorite game of all time. If you don't know that about me, go to my personal channel and find out. Yeah, but so when I saw Saints Row, I'm like, okay, sure, it's next-gen Grand Theft Auto, but it's a ripoff. It's not the next-gen Grand Theft Auto. So I hated it. I despised it, and I didn't touch it. I actually did think I played a little bit of it, and I didn't like how you had to do, you were forced to do side quests to progress in the mission. You had to, do side quests to build respect, and then you could complete the game's main story. So, and I didn't like that. I didn't think that the side quests were any good, and blah 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 blah. It was not a good time for me. Saints Row 2 came out, and a friend of mine named Ashton bought it, and he urged me to buy it because it had co-op. You can play through co-op throughout the entire game, and boy did I! I played Saints Row 2 so much, both co-op and single player. I played it with him. I played it with other friends. I even went through it with my ex-girlfriend. Played through the whole thing multiple times. I love that game. It's a really, really, really good game, and it separated itself from Grand Theft Auto in my mind because while it did something different, you had these 3 different gangs that you were trying to take down, but there were 3 completely different stories, and while it was a serious nature with characters dying and the way they handled a whole bunch of things, it was also goofy. It was also this really silly thing, and I liked it. It was the perfect mix of crazy and serious, and I loved it. Saints Row 3 came out, and I am with you, for those of you out there who are like, Saints Row 3 wasn't as good as Saints Row 2. I agree. The way it controls is better. I do think that they definitely did make some improvements in Saints Row the 3rd, but they did kind of go, well, let's just, the goofiness stuff went really good in Saints Row 2, so let's make the next game all goofy. And they did. And while I didn't like it as much as Saints Row 2, I still thought it was a fun game. I still enjoyed playing all the way through it. I think I've played through it a couple of times, actually, because it's just fun. It's mindless fun. You can sit down and have a laugh or two while you're shooting up people or whatever. It's just, you don't have to take it seriously. Now, Saints Row 4 seems to be pushing that even further. I know that a large chunk of Saints Row 4 is what was supposed to be the Dominatrix DLC for Saints Row 3. I know the name of the DLC wasn't just, I think it Enter the Dominatrix was the name of the DLC, and it was going to have superpowers and all that crazy stuff. They decided to take that DLC and put it into Saints Row 4. I'm not entirely sure whether or not Saints Row 4 was being made and then they decided to put the Enter the Dominatrix stuff into that, or if they took the Enter the Dominatrix stuff and just made that into a full-blown sequel. Either way, for those of you out there who are haters like me, but not in this case, this is going to be a full game. There's going to be a full story. There's going to be, new guns and vehicles and characters and yada 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 yada. I'm hoping that they take all the good stuff from Saints Row 2, and by the good stuff I don't mean the serious tone, because let's face it, the serious tone of Saints Row 2 is probably out the window by now. I mean, you're fighting aliens in a virtual reality while you're the president. Yeah, with superpowers and dubstep guns, which sounds awesomely fun, and that's all that I'm gonna be taking away from this is awesome fun. But I hope they bring back a lot of the customization from Saints Row 2. There was so much depth to customizing your character in that game, and they took a lot of that out in Saints Row the Third, and that kind of bummed me out a little bit. But, though that's really what I'm thinking of Saints Row 4. I probably could, have a conversation about this and go in more depth and talk about it, more. But right now, I'm just going off the top of my head and seeing what comes out, and that's really what I've got to say. Yes, it's not going to be going back to Saints Row 1 and 2 where the serious and the funny are intermingling and meshing perfectly. It is just balls to the wall craziness 100% of the time, or so it seems. But, for me, loving Grand Theft Auto so much, I'm okay with having an open world game that's absolutely fucking bonkers, and I can still go and play Grand Theft Auto when I want to have something a little bit more grounded in reality. Grand Theft Auto also has its own, crazy side, but it does what Saints Row 2 did very well, and that's mesh the two together. So that's all I got. That's what I'm here to say. I hope you guys can have a good discussion about this and not be hating on one another for having different opinions. Their opinions, even mine, is just an opinion. You could disagree with me, but, you're going to do what you're going to do. I hope you guys stick around and watch our Saints Row 4 walkthrough when it comes out in August, because we will be doing that game along with Grand Theft Auto 5 and every other millions of games coming out in that time frame. I'm probably not going to play Assassin's Creed 4. I'll probably have Zach or Tom or Dewey play that because I just don't think I can do Assassin's Creed anymore. But I haven't discussed that with them, so they might change my mind. So I'll see you guys on Monday and hope you guys have a good weekend.